Upon learning that Liam Wentworth was the investor, I knew I'd lose to Mia Sterling. She was the one that got away. After the meeting, Liam chose Mia's proposal, just as expected. Mia approached me and said,
"Even though you are his wife, I'll always be his first choice. Everything you struggled to obtain comes effortlessly to me."
Since our prep school days, she and I had been fierce rivals because her mother stole my father away, and she could effortlessly capture Liam's heart too. I cast a weary glance at the man in the distance and suddenly felt no desire to compete with Mia anymore. This time, I gave up on him. Between Liam Wentworth and my career, I chose my career. The company's new investor was exceptionally handsome, with outstanding abilities and a distinguished old money background, sparking endless chatter around the water cooler. The investor was Liam Wentworth, my husband. The moment I learned he was the client, I knew I'd lost the silent battle with Mia. In the break room, colleagues gossiped about the new investor.
"This investment comes from the CEO of Wentworth Enterprises, Liam Wentworth, the golden boy and heir to the Wentworth family. He's a hot commodity. If our team's designs catch his eye, our future bonuses are guaranteed. My guess is Mia's team will snag it. Word is Mr. Wentworth's longtime crush works right here in our design department, and that crush is Mia. Mia and Mr. Wentworth went to Yale together, each other's first loves. This investment is clearly just him trying to win her back."
Hearing this, my heart clenched. I returned to my cubicle in a daze. The news that Liam was the investor had already spread like wildfire. The boss called me and Mia into his office.
"Samantha, Mia, the investor for our project is Liam Wentworth from Wentworth Enterprises. You two will each lead a team to design a pitch. Submit your drafts in 1 month."
Mr. Wallace gave Mia a meaningful look, his eyes brimming with undisguised admiration. It seemed he too had heard the rumors and understood exactly why Liam had chosen our firm. Before I even stepped out of the office, I knew my team's design proposal would be wasted effort. Competing alongside Mia, I was likely just a token contender. Outside the office, Mia halted her pace. We stood facing each other. I met her gaze and she flashed a smile brimming with smugness and arrogance.
"Sam, let's keep this a fair fight."
Yet she carried herself with the absolute certainty of victory, because she knew full well that between her and me, Liam would choose her. Watching her stride confidently away, I turned and left. The design department erupted in celebration. If my team's proposal was rejected, I'd spend the next quarter working under Mia, swallowing my pride and accepting every one of her directives. I refused to submit to her authority. Before quitting time, everyone swarmed around Mia. Praise poured out endlessly.
"Mia, you are just too amazing."
Through the crowd, my gaze met hers. She was surrounded, the hubbub around her deafening. Compared to her, my corner felt eerily quiet. I stood alone, no one by my side. She flashed me a tight-lipped smile. I averted my gaze, slipped on my trench coat, and walked out. Liam arrived home. His expression remained his usual detached indifference. Still, I couldn't help but ask.
"Liam, did you invest in our firm?"
Liam lifted his head at the sound. Our eyes met. His expression was calm as he gave a light nod. I pressed further.
"Why did you choose our company?"
I added in a joking tone.
"So, are you going to pull some strings for me?"
Liam's brow furrowed slightly, his expression serious. Not a trace of humor flickered in his eyes. After a moment's pause, he replied,
"This was a decision made by the board of directors. The pitch wasn't decided by me alone."
The implication was clear. Even as his wife, I wouldn't get any special treatment. I didn't press further. He was always this cool and detached, operating by his own rules and logic, never willing to make exceptions for me. And I always foolishly hoped to be that exception. Liam got up and walked into his home office. The door wasn't fully closed. I could hear him talking on the phone. On the other end was Mia's voice. Occasionally, Liam responded with a low chuckle. After hanging up, he pushed open the door. He walked to the entryway and casually grabbed his coat from the rack. He slipped on the overcoat and changed into his dress shoes. Standing tall, he addressed me.
"I have a business dinner tonight. I'll be out."
I nodded. Liam was exceptionally handsome, deep-set features. A high, straight nose, thin lips. Beneath his deep black coat was a perfectly tailored suit, accentuating his already imposing stature. He disappeared through the front door. He returned home very late that night. The words I'd intended to ask were swallowed back when I saw Mia's Instagram story. Mia's post was a group photo. 4 people were in it. Mia, Liam, and two of their college friends from Yale. Seeing that photo, I realized there was no need to ask. I wanted to ask Liam if he would favor Mia. I already knew he would. Back then, I'd always leave a porch light on for Liam when he was out late for networking dinners. After turning off the light, I'd sleep soundly. When I woke up, Liam and I hadn't crossed paths yet. We'd each already left for work. Everyone in our design department fawned over Mia, orbiting around her. Everyone understood. If not for Mia, Liam wouldn't have chosen our agency. My conflict with Mia was my own concern. Colleagues only needed to worry about their year-end bonuses and hitting their Q4 targets on time. Today, Liam appeared at the office as an investor. Mr. Wallace called Mia over. When she returned, all eyes were on her.
Mia, is Mr. Wentworth intimidating?
A faint smile touched Mia's lips as she gave an ambiguous reply.
I've known Liam for quite some time. He is not scary. Everyone can relax.
A few exchanged knowing glances and smirked. I'd already gone down the rabbit hole and read the entire history of Mia and Liam's college romance. If I weren't Liam's wife, I'd probably sigh at how beautiful young love could be. But seeing the romantic timeline compiled by Liam and Mia's alumni network, I could only taste bitterness. Mia still had an active Facebook account from her college days. It was filled with daily updates about their relationship. I masochistically scrolled through every single post. The more I read, the more I realized how deeply Liam had loved her. He patiently read every one of her statuses, commenting and liking them all. It was Liam who had pursued Mia. It took me a full year of chasing to win Liam over. When I first learned Mia was Liam's ex-girlfriend, a brief flicker of satisfaction had crossed my mind, a vindictive triumph over her. But I soon realized my defeat was absolute. Knowing Liam still harbored feelings for his ex felt like utter humiliation. It meant Mia had scored yet another victory over me. We'd been fierce rivals since middle school. We clashed like oil and water, irreconcilable enemies. Her mother had moved her into our home, while my mother sank into severe depression and attempted to take her own life. I nearly lost my mother. In high school, we ended up at the same elite prep school. She fell 1 point short on the entrance exam, so my father, Arthur Jenkins, pulled strings and made a massive donation to get her in. That same year, my mother moved to London. I stayed behind at the Jenkins estate. I thought if I pushed them hard enough, Mia and her mother would pack up and leave. My methods weren't clever. They were downright childish. When I poured ink into their morning coffee mugs, I used non-toxic craft ink, terrified they might actually drink it. I only wanted to scare them, to assert my dominance in front of Mia. But Mia went straight to Arthur to complain. His face darkened, and he scolded me harshly, his brow furrowed in anger. I despised them both, but never dared to cross the line. All my acting out only made Arthur feel he was failing them. After high school graduation, Mia and I finally went to different colleges. What made me give up on Arthur completely happened during my freshman winter break. He brought Mia to a high society holiday gala. He didn't deny she was his daughter. He even insisted she legally take the Jenkins last name. I told him that if he let Mia take the Jenkins name, I would legally change mine to my mother's maiden name. His eyes filled with rage as he glared at me, his arm raised mid-air, poised to strike me across the face. But a tall figure stepped in and blocked him. That person was Liam Wentworth. After college, I ran into Liam again. I pursued him relentlessly for an entire year. Just as I was about to throw in the towel, he finally gave in. It wasn't until after our wedding that I found out Mia was his college ex-girlfriend, and that Liam had previously visited the Jenkins estate as Mia's boyfriend. So when Arthur heard the news that I had eloped with Liam, his face turned purple. He clutched his chest, nearly hyperventilating.
Did you do this on purpose? You knew Liam was Mia's ex, yet you still married him.
I froze, completely stunned for a long moment. During Christmas, I hadn't wanted to return to the Jenkins estate, but Liam insisted on taking me back for the holidays. Once we arrived, Mia and I clashed again. We both slipped on the icy patio in the backyard. Liam reacted instantly, lunging forward to catch Mia. I fell flat on the freezing stone, scraping my face. In the ER, my eyes red. I stubbornly demanded to know why he hadn't helped me. He peeled an apple with a detached expression.
I didn't see you.
When Liam stepped out of the room, Mia came in to visit me. She smiled as she studied me in the hospital bed, recounting every detail about her and Liam's time at Yale. From her stories emerged a side of Liam I'd never known. My heart clenched tightly. After I was discharged, Mia and I crossed paths again. We even ended up working at the same corporate design firm. We competed fiercely, neither willing to concede an inch. Her status as Arthur Jenkins's daughter earned her VIP treatment from upper management. Now, with the added title of the Wentworth heirs' college sweetheart, everyone kissed up to her even more. I knew my pitch was likely doomed. Yet I pushed my team to work late nights and weekends, racing against the clock to perfect it. A month later, I walked into the boardroom with that presentation. Everyone was seated except Mia. She walked in alongside Liam. The room's lighting seemed to fall perfectly on the two of them. Liam occasionally leaned down slightly, adjusting to Mia's height to hear her whisper. His profile, illuminated by the projector, bore sharp, defined contours. His eyes were dark, a faint smile playing on his lips. In that brief, unintentional glance, I searched his eyes for something different, something for me. But there was nothing, only his usual cool detachment. We drew straws to determine the presentation order. I went before Mia. I stepped up to the front with a composed expression, hooked up my laptop, and laid out all my design concepts and mood boards. My mind was entirely focused during the pitch. When I wrapped up, scattered, polite applause followed. The most enthusiastic clapping came from Chloe, the young intern who joined my team right after graduation. Liam remained expressionless, his thoughts completely unreadable. Mr. Wallace studied Liam's face out of the corner of his eye, desperately trying to gauge his reaction. Next, it was Mia's turn. She met Liam's gaze effortlessly. They shared a smile. The colleagues around the table exchanged glances. Their faces lit up with gossipy grins. Chloe leaned close to me and whispered,
Sam, is our team's pitch going to get trashed?
I forced a tight smile, tugging at the corners of my mouth. Mia finished her slide deck. The applause for her was deafening compared to mine. The executives were clapping enthusiastically. A faint smile touched Liam's lips. There was a 30-minute recess. Lately, I'd been suffocating under the weight of the office rumors swirling around Liam and Mia. The way he looked at me was so cold it made my chest physically ache. Through the office grapevine, I'd learned even more about their past. Liam had been the one to chase Mia. He used to walk her back to her dorm every single night and bring her coffee and bagels in the morning. Every Yale alum from their graduating class knew how obsessed Liam was with Mia. I sat frozen in my ergonomic chair, watching Liam and Mia walk out of the boardroom side by side. My nose stung with unshed tears. The man I had fought so hard to win over held the person I despised most in his heart. Only Chloe and I were left in the room. Chloe squeezed my hand. The half hour was up. The results were in. Liam and the Wentworth Enterprises reps had already left the building. Mr. Wallace announced the decision. There were 3 executive votes in total. All 3 went to Mia. As the verdict was delivered, my eyes burned, welling up with tears. I blinked them back fiercely. Mr. Wallace exchanged a knowing, affirming look with Mia. Several coworkers immediately crowded around her.
Mia, you killed it.
I slipped out the door, feeling completely isolated and defeated, but Mia followed me into the hallway.
Samantha,
I stopped in my tracks, her eyes crinkled with a triumphant smile.
even though you've got the ring on your finger, I'll always be number 1 in his eyes. Everything you hustle so hard to get, it just falls right into my lap.
She was right. At 14, Mia effortlessly stole Arthur Jenkins's love from me. Now, she had seamlessly captured Liam's heart too. Down the hall, Liam was being ushered into the VIP elevator by one of our senior partners. His posture relaxed and effortlessly confident. Suddenly, a massive wave of exhaustion hit me. I didn't want to fight Mia anymore. I didn't want Liam either. The elevator doors held open. The senior partner, ever the sycophant, hurriedly gestured for both me and Mia to step inside. The elevator descended smoothly. Mr. Wallace immediately started kissing up to him.
Mr. Wentworth, you and Mia really make the perfect power couple. You two are an absolute match made in heaven.
The others eagerly chimed in.
Exactly. We heard Mr. Wentworth and Mia actually tied the knot, talk about a devoted husband. He specifically brought this account to our firm just for her.
I listened numbly to the relentless brown nosing, feeling absolutely nothing. Sensing an intense burning gaze beside me, I glanced over. Liam's expression had completely frozen. Mr. Wallace nudged my arm, prompting me to agree.
Samantha, you agree, right? Mr. Wentworth and Mia are such a perfect match.
The elevator doors dinged open at the lobby. I met Liam's gaze with dead calm.
They certainly are.
A flash of sheer panic broke through his indifferent eyes. His lips parted slightly as if he wanted to speak. I quickened my pace and walked straight out into the parking garage. Behind me, a man's urgent, deep voice echoed off the concrete walls.
Samantha,
Without a second's hesitation, I kept walking, escaping the suffocating crowd. Tears spilled over uncontrollably as years of bitterness and resentment finally boiled over. At 14, I found out my mother had attempted suicide and was on life support in the ICU, all while my father was out buying a house for his mistress. I had felt so utterly helpless and abandoned. When Liam took that slap from Arthur for me, I thought he was my savior. But everything I desperately clung to always slipped through my fingers, landing perfectly in Mia's lap. My luck always ran out just before the finish line. I hid in my car in the underground garage and sobbed until I couldn't breathe. Crying actually helped clear my head. Just as I wiped my mascara, Liam's tall frame appeared in the dimly lit garage. He was practically sprinting, his footsteps echoing loudly. As he reached for my door handle, I slammed the car into drive and sped toward the exit. I drove straight to the Jenkins estate, but Arthur and the Sterling women were nowhere to be found. Only a couple of housekeepers were milling around the massive, empty mansion. The childhood bedroom I'd grown up in had been completely remodeled, now fully converted into Mia's space. I grabbed my grandmother's jewelry and my essential documents from the safe. The entire house reeked of Mia and her mother's presence. Mia's framed Yale diploma and graduation photo sat proudly on my father's mahogany desk. I looked away in disgust. When Arthur found out I'd eloped with Liam, he threw a massive fit, entirely convinced I'd thrown my life away just to spite Mia. If I had known Liam was Mia's ex, I would have just written him off as a guy with garbage taste in women. I would have tossed him in the same trash bin as Mia. Walking out the front doors of the estate, I bumped right into Mia. She looked me up and down with mocking amusement.
Samantha, competing with me is a waste of your time. Let's face it, anything you want, I can get without even trying. From your mother to you, neither of you ever stood a chance against us. I heard you chased Liam for a whole year back in college. Half the campus was throwing themselves at him, but he was notoriously untouchable, the ultimate golden boy. I never had to lift a single finger. He was always right there waiting for me. That was true 4 years ago, and it is still true today.
The Liam in Mia's eyes was a devoted, romantic prince. The Liam in mine was a cold, ruthless stranger. The memories plastered all over Mia's social media had been a brutal wake-up call. Seeing how deeply he had loved someone else made me realize he had never actually loved me at all. Mia was obsessed with posting her entire life online. We had only added each other on Instagram to keep up appearances when we started at the firm. Liam would occasionally like her overly curated photo dumps. He'd even left comments a few times. I had blown up at Liam over this once. He had just frowned, looking at me like I was insane, and demanded,
Samantha, why are you always targeting her like this?
I was so blindingly angry I couldn't even form a coherent sentence. Didn't he know the basic rule of boundaries with an ex? I just wanted my husband to prioritize me, to take my side for once. Mia's gloating snapped me back to the present.
Sam, you can't beat me. Every guy you've ever loved, I trained first. I even took his first kiss.
I just smiled at her and didn't say a word. That afternoon, I headed back to the office. Mia had catered an upscale afternoon lunch for the whole department. Artisanal pastries and expensive cold brew.
Thanks so much, Mia.
Mia soaked up the praise with perfect, practiced humility.
You guys put in the hours. Let's crush this campaign together.
Everyone in the bullpen genuinely believed that if it weren't for Mia, Zenith Design never would have landed this massive account. When Mia stepped away, the gossiping started up again.
Mr. Wentworth is dropping millions just to see her smile.
The younger, single girls in the office looked like they were watching a rom-com.
See, guys like that actually do exist. They've been together since Yale, and he was the one who chased her.
Someone awkwardly interrupted the fantasy.
Wait, I thought I read somewhere that Mr. Wentworth was married.
The bullpen exploded.
Holy crap. So Mia is actually his wife. He came in as the investor just to play sugar daddy for his own wife.
Amidst the chaos, my phone buzzed. It was Liam. The vibrating on my desk felt aggressive. I declined the call, but he immediately dialed back. I flipped the phone to silent and shoved it in my drawer. Chloe rolled her chair over to my cubicle, looking genuinely worried. She kept her voice to a whisper.
Sam, don't let it get to you. I know it sucks to hear, but Mia is legally Mrs. Wentworth. She has got the CEO backing her. Plus, I heard Arthur Jenkins from Jenkins Corp is her dad, too.
My father and my husband, both hers now. I pressed my lips together into a tight smile.
Don't worry about me, Chloe. I am fine.
I went into a bathroom stall and FaceTimed my mom, who was 6 time zones away in London. She had always been my rock, supporting every choice I ever made. Through the phone, she didn't offer a single word of judgment, only gentle warmth.
Sweetheart, whatever you decide to do, I've got your back. Some lessons you just have to learn the hard way to truly come into your own.
After hanging up, I went back to my desk and typed out my 2 weeks' notice. Handing it to HR, a massive weight instantly lifted off my chest. Mr. Wallace called me into his office, staring at the printed letter in absolute shock.
Samantha, what is this? Why are you quitting out of nowhere? Is this because Wentworth didn't pick your pitch? You're a professional. Liam only brought this account here for Mia throwing a tantrum over office politics at a time like this is just immature. Are you blind to the dynamic between Liam and Mia? You've been in the corporate world long enough, read the room. If Mia wasn't here, Wentworth Enterprises wouldn't have given us a dime. I am going to shred this and pretend I never saw it. Go back to your desk.
I shook my head and let out a dry laugh.
Mr. Wallace, I handed it to you directly because I wanted to make sure it didn't get lost in the shuffle. I want out as soon as possible. My current deliverables are wrapped up. I just need a week to transition my files.
I had zero intention of sticking around once the Wentworth collaboration officially kicked off. I wasn't a masochist. I wasn't going to sit in a glass conference room watching my husband play house with my worst enemy, while the whole office cheered them on. He gave me a hard, calculating look.
Are you absolutely sure about this? You've got talent, Sam, but talent doesn't pay the bills if you burn the wrong bridges. Mia has the Wentworth heir in her corner. If you walk out now, you are going to find yourself blacklisted in this industry.
He paused, lowering his voice. Not to mention, she's the heiress to the Jenkins fortune. I smirked, deciding not to drop the bomb about Mia's actual pedigree just yet.
Mr. Wallace, I am 100% sure, and I promise you I won't lose a wink of sleep over it.
He aggressively signed his approval on the paperwork. My offboarding process officially began. Mom had legally finalized her divorce from Arthur years ago. Arthur had only managed to build Jenkins Corp into an empire by leveraging my mother's old money connections. Back then, after Mom survived her stint in the ICU, she agreed to sign the divorce papers the day she was discharged. Her one non-negotiable condition, an ironclad trust stating that every single asset in Arthur's name would default to me upon his death. Arthur must have been blinded by his affair with Martha. To marry her, he actually signed the binding legal agreement. His entire estate was legally mine, the second his heart stopped. And even if I dragged Liam through divorce court, New York state law meant I was walking away with half of his portfolio. Mia got Arthur's conditional love and Liam's heart. That was fine by me. I was getting the bag. Back at my desk, I started uploading my files to the shared drive. Chloe mentioned the firm was throwing a massive happy hour at an upscale bar this Friday to celebrate Mia closing the Wentworth deal. I had zero plans to show up. The whole floor watched as I packed up my framed photos and handed off my client list. Mia's clique whispered loudly that I was a sore loser throwing a pity party. I didn't blame them for kissing the ring. Mia was the golden goose now. In corporate America, loyalty only goes as far as the next paycheck. You follow the money, so I kept my mouth shut and packed my boxes. Chloe pulled on my cardigan sleeve. Sam, are you really leaving us? I looked down at her and gave her a tight hug.
Yeah, I am out. HR is processing it now. Friday's my last day. I am just clearing out my desk.
I was completely burnt out on the toxic corporate rat race anyway. One of Mia's junior designers scoffed loudly from the next pod.
Looks like somebody's ego couldn't handle getting second place. I bet she doesn't even have the guts to show her face at the party on Friday. Hey, we can't all be Mia born with a billionaire dad and married to a literal Prince Charming.
I let out a sharp, cold laugh. Too bad. My dad was actually my biological father, and the name on Liam Wentworth's marriage certificate was mine. I ended up going to the Friday happy hour. It was my last official day as an employee. With me gone, Zenith Design was scrambling because they didn't have anyone with my seniority to co-manage the accounts with Mia. Her team was incredibly bitter that I was leaving them in a lurch. They drank heavily, their liquid courage making them bolder, convinced I was just throwing a tantrum. The VIP booth was practically vibrating with passive aggression. Every comment was laced with venom. After 3 rounds of martinis, one of Mia's sycophants dramatically pulled out her phone and called Liam. Honestly, good. If she hadn't dialed him, I would have. After hanging up, the girl flashed me a nasty smirk.
Mr. Wentworth knows our VIP is a little tipsy. He is on his way to get her. Some people are about to get a harsh reality check about where they stand.
30 minutes later, the heavy velvet curtains parted, and a tall figure navigated through the crowded lounge. Liam looked impossibly sharp, his tailored suit catching the dim neon lighting.
Mr. Wentworth, here to play designated driver for Mia.
Liam's voice was a low rumble over the bass of the music.
Yes, where is she?
He scanned the leather booths for Mia, but his eyes locked dead onto mine. In that split second, he completely froze. He actually stumbled over the edge of the carpet, nearly losing his footing in pure panic. I stood up from the booth. The music thumped, but our silence was deafening. Finally, I spoke up.
Liam, I am done playing this game. I want a divorce.
Liam went rigid, the muscles in his jaw ticking, his eyelids fluttering in shock. I looked at the junior designer who had been running her mouth and then down at Mia.
Mia, you want him that badly. Take him. He is all yours.
The entire booth went dead silent. Jaws practically hit the floor. You could have heard a pin drop over the EDM track. The junior designer looked like she was going to throw up. I turned my attention squarely on Mia.
Remind me, your legal last name is Sterling, isn't it? Because I don't recall my father, Arthur Jenkins, ever having a second child, and I am pretty sure I don't have a long-lost sister. But you've got some serious nerve. Not only did you happily play the homewrecker in my marriage, you practically built your whole personality on stealing my dad.
Mr. Wallace had just walked up to the table with a tray of drinks. I glanced down, the man's knees were literally shaking.
Mr. Wentworth, your wife is.
Liam lunged forward and grabbed my wrist in a vice grip.
My wife is Samantha. Since Mia seems perfectly capable of getting an Uber, I'll be taking my wife home now.
Watching the smugness drain from Mia's face, replaced by sheer, humiliating panic, gave me a rush of pure dopamine. I ripped my arm away, navigated through the strobe lights, pushed out the heavy bar doors, and took the elevator straight down to the parking garage. In the rearview mirror, I saw Liam sprinting out of the lobby doors. He was making a mad dash for my SUV. I slammed my foot on the gas and peeled out of the concrete structure onto the avenue. His face contorted in anger as he scrambled into his own Porsche. A sleek black sports car aggressively tailgated me all the way across town. I took sharp turns, trying to lose him in the city grid. We pulled into the condo's private garage seconds apart. He yanked my driver's side door open, his face pale and furious.
Are you out of your mind driving like that?
I ignored him, grabbing my purse. The second we were inside the apartment, he grabbed my shoulders and spun me around.
Sam, I can explain the elevator thing. I never once told anyone at that firm that Mia was my wife.
His voice was actually shaking.
Sam, I swear to God, whatever was between me and her is dead.
I just nodded, completely exhausted.
I know.
A year ago, I would have thrown plates. I would have screamed until my throat bled, cursing Mia to hell for trying to single white female my life. But looking at him now, I just felt empty. I didn't care if they were secretly hooking up or just emotionally cheating. I shrugged his hands off and kicked off my heels. I walked into the kitchen and poured myself a glass of ice water. Liam followed right behind me, his head bowed, his dark eyes frantic. Sam, are you pissed? I took a sip and looked him dead in the eye.
Number.
His pupils dilated, his chest heaving under his dress shirt.
Just let me explain.
I put the glass down. He was practically hovering over me.
Liam, save your breath. I only want one thing from you, sign the divorce papers.
He aggressively shook his head.
I am not signing anything. I am not divorcing you. Sam, you were so obsessed with me. How can you just throw me away like nothing?
All the suppressed rage flared back to life. Where did he get off playing the victim? While the whole office was planning their imaginary wedding, he was playing right along.
Liam, you knew exactly how much history I had with her, didn't you? Was marrying me just some twisted inside joke between the two of you to keep torturing me? You bought into Zenith Design just to flex on me and make sure she got the corner office, right? You are making me sick. You are just as toxic as she is. You deserve each other.
Liam's brow furrowed so hard it looked painful, his eyes flashing with defensive anger.
I had no idea about your family drama with her. I would never intentionally humiliate you.
I let out a harsh, bitter laugh.
Please, half the city knows she is your tragic first love. You dumped millions into Zenith just to play knight in shining armor. You knew I hated her guts, and you still handed her the win.
The edges of Liam's eyes turned bloodshot, his voice cracking. He took a step closer, practically yelling.
Samantha, I invested in Zenith because you work at Zenith. It had absolutely zero to do with her. And for the record, the pitch the board actually approved was yours.
I rolled my eyes, scoffing loudly.
Right, everyone at Wentworth Enterprises knows she is the one that got away. It is an open secret. You bought the account for her. And the official word from management was that her pitch won.
Liam glared at me with pure frustration before turning on his heel and slamming the front door behind him. I sat on the kitchen island, waiting. An hour later, he came back looking completely unhinged, his face flushed as he paced the floor.
Your boss is a moron. He completely misread the situation. I never went there for her. He is going to clear this up with you tomorrow. Sam, why the hell won't you just trust me?
I laughed so hard my ribs ached.
Trust you? Give me one good reason to trust you. You knew damn well how toxic my family was, and you still dragged me back to that estate for Christmas. When I busted my face on the ice, you were too busy catching her. Every single choice you make, you choose her.
When Liam and Mia had locked eyes in the Jenkins foyer, the sexual tension could have burned the house down. The next morning, while I was dropping off my laptop, Mr. Wallace practically crawled into the HR office to beg for my forgiveness.
Samantha, I am so sorry. I completely screwed up. I listened to the office gossip. I thought Mr. Wentworth was just playing favorites with an old flame, and I assumed the investment was a gift for Mia. So I took it upon myself to lie to the board and say Wentworth selected Mia's pitch. I made her the lead so she'd be point of contact with him. I honestly just thought I was doing what the billionaire wanted.
He looked like he was about to cry, his posture completely slumped. His voice was pure desperation.
Could you please talk to Mr. Wentworth? Tell him I made a mistake. I've got a mortgage, kids in private school. I can't lose this job.
I looked at him with zero sympathy.
Mr. Wallace, I am just here for my exit interview.
The entire design department was in shambles. Chloe and I went out for a goodbye lunch. She was practically vibrating with excitement as she spilled the tea. Sam, you have no idea. Mia and her mean girl squad were acting like they owned the building, and now they're getting absolutely destroyed. Wallace got escorted out by security. The new VP is terrifying, but he doesn't play favorites. He audited the whole pitch process. Liam released a formal corporate statement threatening legal action for defamation, and Wentworth pulled their funding entirely. We stayed at the restaurant for hours. Chloe finally asked what my next move was.
First, finalize the divorce. Then, I am booking a one-way ticket to London to stay with my mom.
Chloe sighed, raising her mimosa.
Turns out you were the real boss all along. Mia was just cosplaying. Karma is a beautiful thing.
Before paying the check, I asked Chloe if she wanted me to put in a good word for her with some of my headhunter contacts. She shook her head, smiling.
Now I want to climb the ladder the right way. If I take a shortcut I didn't earn, the fall is going to hurt a lot worse.
We clinked our glasses. My marriage to Liam was over. He lawyered up and refused to sign the divorce papers, but I was entirely checked out. He cornered me in the lobby of my lawyer's office. This imposing, powerful man looked completely wrecked, his eyes shining with unshed tears. His voice broke as he stared down at me.
Is there really no coming back from this? You used to look at me like I was your whole world.
I smiled sadly.
Didn't you look at Mia like that once too?
Back at Yale, Liam had practically turned New Haven upside down looking for a vintage vinyl record Mia casually mentioned she liked. He did all the stupid, grand romantic gestures college kids do. But passion burns out. Liam's voice was barely a whisper.
I swear to God, I didn't know the history between your families. I wasn't trying to help her ruin you. When you were chasing me, you were just so fiercely yourself. You didn't play games. You loved hard and you fought hard. That is why I fell in love with you. And about Christmas, I made you go back to the estate because Arthur had just been diagnosed with stage 2 pancreatic cancer. He swore me to secrecy. That is the only reason I forced you to go.
My eyes burned, but not out of pity for him. It was the sheer injustice of it all.
Liam, I hate him, and I hate you. He's my own flesh and blood. Yet every single time it mattered, he chose a stranger over his own daughter. And you, I thought I finally found someone who was entirely mine, only to find out you were the ghost of my worst enemy's past. And you chose her over and over too. Lying awake at night, I used to actually wonder if I was just fundamentally broken, if I was just less than her. You both belong to her.
Liam stared at me, slowly shaking his head.
Sam, I am choosing you. Please, can we just try again?
His voice was completely stripped of its usual authority, reduced to begging. I slid the manila folder across the mahogany table.
Sign it.
After the divorce was finalized, my bank accounts doubled with the settlement. The second the ink was dry, I headed to JFK. I was moving to London. Once I got settled in Chelsea, I took some time to decompress before shadowing my mom's investment firm. Sitting in her corner office, she poured us tea and said,
Samantha, you are my only daughter. Everything I've built is yours, and you are his only legitimate child. His empire is legally yours, too. A bad divorce isn't a death sentence. It is just a reset button. I know you stayed in New York all these years because you felt you had to protect my honor against them, but if I had known it was destroying your mental health, I would have dragged you onto a plane myself. Arthur and I made our peace with the divorce. He was obsessed with that woman. But honestly, love is cheap. Equity is what matters. His entire portfolio belongs to you.
I never saw Arthur Jenkins again while he was healthy. I spent Christmas in London, drinking mulled wine with Mom. Right after New Year's, my lawyer called. Arthur was in hospice. I booked the first-class flight back to New York. He was hooked up to a ventilator in a private suite at Mount Sinai, nothing but skin and bones. When he saw me walk in, he actually tried to push himself up. He wheezed, his skeletal hand gripping mine with surprising strength.
Sammy, Dad's out of time. You finally came home.
I knew he had booked a flight to London to try and see me for the holidays, but his oncologist had grounded him. His body couldn't handle the altitude. I stood there completely numb, not knowing what to say to the man who ruined my childhood. Hearing the click of heels in the hallway, Martha and Mia, I pulled my hand away.
Martha and Mia are here. I'll give you guys the room.
He panicked, his grip tightening like a vice.
No, Sammy, please. I just want my daughter.
His eyes filled with tears that spilled over his sunken cheeks. I sat in that sterile room all afternoon. Martha played the role of the grieving, devoted wife perfectly. Even Mia managed to squeeze out some genuine tears for her stepdad. A month later, his heart gave out. In his final lucid moment, he had squeezed my hand one last time.
I was a fool, Sammy. I am so sorry. Martha gave me her best years. I left her the condo in Boca. It is just a modest 2-bedroom enough for her and Mia. Everything else, the lawyer's already transferred to your mother's trust.
Martha had played the dutiful nurse right up to the flatline. At the reading of the will, Martha completely lost her mind.
I gave that man half my life and he leaves me a retirement condo. He treated me like the hired help.
Sitting across the Polish conference table, watching their faces contort in furious disbelief, I felt a deep, profound sense of closure. They had played the long game and walked away with pennies. Mom's family had deep roots in New York real estate. Gradually, we moved our headquarters back to Manhattan. Trauma is a hell of an incubator. I had evolved. I was running the board now. Under my direction, the firm's valuation skyrocketed. I ran into Liam Wentworth one last time at a high-profile charity gala at the Met. He spotted me across the ballroom, his eyes immediately going glassy and red. He crossed the floor, swallowing hard a few times before he could even speak.
Sam, it has been a long time.
I took a sip of my champagne, a polite, untouchable smile on my lips.
It has
Just a fleeting exchange between strangers. Over these past few years, I had built an empire. When I looked for validation in others, I ended up empty-handed and broken. But when I finally bet on myself, I became untouchable.